with all the latest big discussion, news and talking points from the football world. This is Football Central. Hello everybody, welcome to Football Central, and today is an absolutely big game in the Premier League. It's the Manchester Derby. Manchester United beat Manchester City. It's at Old Trafford. It kicks off at 5:30, and we'll be here to bring all the reaction and the team news and our thoughts on the game. And I'm your host TubeMix, and they should be joining me in a bit, Sam Taylor and JLIWheels, and we might potentially have Gricey21, but we don't know, and I would say probably not if I had to guess, but we'll see. But anyway, as I said, welcome to the show. Now, I think the team news should be out. If not, then, right, so here is your team news. Yep, so I've got it here. So, for Manchester City, it's Ederson in goal. Kyle Walker comes in for João Cancelo on the right back side. As right back, because that sounded just wrong. Then John Stones, that's interesting. Instead of Aymeric Laporte with Ruben Dias, João Cancelo replaces Benjamin Mendy at left back. Then it's a midfield of Rodri and Fernandinho. That's his first start in ages. Not seen him much this season. That's a weird combination because, you know, Rodri is a defensive midfielder, so is Fernandinho, and Fernandinho is not playing in defence. So that seems like it's picking two of the same players, so you don't get that balance. Okay, that's interesting. And then it's Riyad Mahrez, Kevin De Bruyne, Raheem Sterling and Gabriel Jesus. On the bench is Ilkay Gundogan. I can never pronounce his name right. Young player Zach Steffen, Aymeric Laporte, Bernardo Silva, Ferran Torres, Benjamin Mendy and Phil Foden. For Manchester United, it's David De Gea in goal, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw returns. He played in the Champions League, but this is his first league start in ages. Then it's a midfield of Fred, Scott McTominay and Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, Mason Greenwood and Marcus Rashford. On the bench, Eric Bailly, Juan Mata, Anthony Martial, Dean Henderson, Alex Telles, Nemanja Matic and Donny van de Beek. So that is your team news. So that's going to be a really interesting game, isn't it? It'll be interesting to see United's reaction after what was really a dire performance against RB Leipzig in the UEFA Champions League. We've got to get a reaction, and we have to start well, because if they don't start well, we know the players that City have got, and City have also got some fantastic options off the bench. You know, you think of people like Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden, so have United have got some decent options as well. Anthony Martial, Donny van de Beek. Would have loved to see him start, but Joe, well, Fred and McTominay, I'm pleased to see them starting. Paul Pogba, Not sure, but well, he did score. So, but we will see. Right, and Newcastle and West Brom. That's the game going on in the Premier League. It's 1-1. It's 79 minutes, so not got long to go. Miguel Almiron scoring in the first minute, 25 seconds, I think JLIWheels said. And then Furlong for West Brom in the 50th minute. Joelinton assisting Almiron, and Phillips assisting Furlong. And let's go through a couple of results in the Championship. Bournemouth are 5-0 up. They're absolutely thrashing the hell out of Huddersfield. And let's check who's on the score sheet. I have to say Bournemouth are doing really, really well, aren't they? Dominic Solanke, he scored in the 8th minute, assisted by David Brooks. He scored in the 13th minute, assisted by Jefferson Lerma. David Brooks, as well as assisting the 8th goal, scored in the 21st minute, assisted by Dominic Solanke. Junior Stanislas scored in the 67th minute, assisted by Lloyd Kelly. And Sam Surridge, I love his name, assisted by Dan Gosling in the 70th minute. It's 78 minutes on the clock. There's still some time to go, but I think it's fair to say that practically it is game over, if you excuse the cliche. It's Huddersfield are not going to come back 5-5, are they? But crazy things have happened in football. That's why we love it. Things just that you don't expect, and then just bang. I mean, it's interesting, you get the goal, and then it really builds you up, and then, I think of the time, well, obviously. Oh, and I think we've got JLIWheels and Sam Taylor on the line. Good evening, JLIWheels, you alright?
Are we going, are we?
Oh, sorry, yeah, I sent you a message in the group chat saying I'll start, and then I could bring you in.
Oh, okay, cool, no worries. Yes, hello, how are we all?
I'm good. Well, I was just looking at the team news, and the thing that's really interesting for me is Manchester City, right? I've got Rodri and Fernandinho in midfield. So, to me, that there's not much balance because they are very similar players. They play in the same position. So I think that's very interesting.
Strong in defence, it seems like.
It is. What's really interesting, I didn't expect John Stones to be starting, but actually he seemed to have been going on a good run, doesn't he? And João Cancelo, he's back on the left back side. He is.
Yeah, he's done well there. So that to me, that's a good.
He has, yeah. Although Benjamin Mendy, I think, hasn't actually done that bad actually when he's played recently. Actually,
I think obviously with Mendy, like, it is his defensive ability that's the problem. What do you think about Pogba starting? I mean, I would have, to be honest, given everything that's gone on with him, to me it was written in the stars that he would have started.
It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, obviously he did score, but I also think back to, well, funnily enough, it was this game, the Manchester derby. And I was watching in the pub with my dad, and Pogba was having a really terrible game then, and then it was, well, thanks to Michael Carrick, and Pogba switched to, in a back three defensively, and he scored. He scored, I think, about 2 goals that game.
Yeah, I think I know which one you're on about.
Yeah. So I don't. It's just a case of, will he turn up? You don't know, do you, with Pogba? Sometimes off the bench, he seems to be good. Sometimes he doesn't when he comes off the bench, but sometimes when he starts, he's good. But then sometimes when he even when he starts, he's not that great. You just don't know what you're going to get from him. But that's the way. Good to see Luke Shaw starting. I don't think Alex Tellers. I thought he did really well. You know, when they played PSG, I was thinking he looks like a good player. But since then, I don't know. I've not seen much for him to challenge Luke Shaw.
I think you've got to give him time to settle. You know, he's only just come into the country and into the team, and it's a lot easier to settle when the team's flying, but the team is very inconsistent, which means
that is true, and it's a good evening to Sam Taylor as well.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm late. My neighbour just popped round to say hello. So
no, that's all right, Sam.
Yeah.
And I was just saying, Sam, that
George.
Oh, apologies.
Good, mate. You?
Yeah.
Good.
Carry on.
I was saying to George, Sam, it's really interesting because City have gone for both Rodri and Fernandinho.
Oh, they've gone for two defensive. That's probably to stop the Man United counter-attacking.
Yeah, and I've not seen Fernandinho that much actually this season.
It's because he's getting older, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was going to say he's right at the end of his career. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if this season might be his last.
I was just about to ask that. Do we think it's his last season?
Whether it'll be his last as a professional footballer, not necessarily, but it could be. He might decide at the end of the season that, because he could still play, obviously, but whether there's that thing you get players that love playing football and are quite happy to go down the ladder.
Yeah, because they love it so much. Yeah.
My dad played with a 43-year-old man. I think his name was his last name was Wagstaff, and he played professional football, but then came down to the Mid-Cheshire League when my dad was playing because he was right at the end of his career.
I didn't know your dad played football, you know.
I didn't know your dad played football, Sam.
Yeah, he played in the Mid-Cheshire League, which is not a bad standard to be fair.
Oh, okay.
He played for Cheshire East Boys a year early.
We have a goal. We have a goal up at Newcastle. It's now Newcastle 2, West Brom 1, and it's Dwight Gale assisted by Jacob Murphy.
What a great assist that was!
You reported that about 5 minutes too late. I was just going to mention it because you didn't say anything.
Sorry, but I've also gone through some of the championship results as well. Bournemouth absolutely tearing Huddersfield apart.
What was the score?
5-0 at the
5-0.
What do you? I tell you what as well. Did you see O'Shea's goal? It was absolutely. Oh, you've got to see O'Shea's goal later.
O'Shea.
Do you not see? No, not O'Shea. Furlong.
Furlong, yeah. I thought it was Darnell Furlong.
Yeah, it was Furlong. Sorry, I meant it.
Did you know his dad played for Chelsea?
I did.
Who's his father?
Furlong. Paul Furlong.
Not heard of him.
What a surprise.
But that was an outstanding finish because he was running and felt full pelt. But basically, Phillips crossed the ball in Phillips crossed the ball in from the left, and it went over Gallagher's head. And it was the first time finish on the run from there.
Oh, sounds like a good one to watch on Match of the Day.
Yeah, it was a stunning goal. But I have to say, I don't know, Jordan, if you saw Jacob Murphy's cross, but that's as good as crosses come.
He's another player that's really come into his own, hasn't he, this season? And I think
he needs to be playing better as an attacking fullback, actually, and he did as a winger.
it's about time, really. There's been a lot said about the Murphys over the years, hasn't there? Both of them.
Yeah.
And it's good to see that at least one of them is fulfilling the potential.
I like Josh. I've always played.
Yeah, I don't think Josh Murphy's having that bad of a player either, but I think they both have the ability to be higher up than they were, and it's good to see, obviously, that now Jacob's getting his chance.
Yeah.
What do we think about the team news? Have you done the team news yet?
I have done the team news. Have you seen it, Sam? Have you?
I've not seen it, no.
Okay.
I can't wait. I'll do it.
Oh, okay.
So, for United, De Gea in goal.
Oh.
A back four of Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire and Shaw.
Yeah.
A midfield of Fred, McTominay and Pogba.
So it's 4-3, yeah.
No, Pogba must be on the wing, I think.
No, is he right?
I can't quite work it out. I did see it before, but then Pogba, Bruno, Greenwood, Rashford on the bench. Bailly, Mata, Martial, Henderson, Tellez, Matic, Van der Beek, and then for City, Edison, Walker, Stones, Ruben Diaz, Cancelo, Rodri, Fernandinho, Mahrez, De Bruyne, Sterling, Jesus.
Yeah, you're reading it out, and I'm getting chills down the back of my spine. Yeah, I think there's a few points there. I mean, our lineup's okay. I just want to see if Paul's going to be playing, which he is. I want to see Paul further forward, up alongside Fernandez. I think those two should be the two creative players, and we seem to be playing in deep. Let Fred do the
defensive work.
The defensive work, yeah.
Because he is a defensive midfielder, isn't he?
I want to close the book on the Pogba talk. So, what it seems like is that he's talked a lot, obviously, and Rayola's talked a lot, and Deschamps was talking weeks ago, and whatever. Now is the time. Now is the time, no matter what anybody says, now is the time for Paul Pogba to shut up and let his football do the talking.
Yes.
I agree.
Like they were saying on BT the other day, like about how good of a person and how good of a lad Paul Pogba actually is.
He does a lot of charity work, doesn't he, as well, Pogba?
So it's another one of those where it's his big chance. And, he did score a good goal against West Ham. I thought it was a screamer, to be honest. I thought it was great. But, that's the key one for me. And Greenwood in again is interesting as well, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's been at his same.
Yeah, and also his goal against West Ham was very good. I think it's deserved that he's in the team, considering the form Martial's been in.
Martial's been practically invisible.
And for me, a weak point for me would probably be John Stones, because he's come in and he seems to have done quite well the last few appearances for City. So maybe he's sort of played himself into Guardiola's thoughts. Yeah,
it's interesting, isn't it? Because I thought he'd be a contender to be sold, in the summer. But or maybe even January, but maybe he saved himself.
Oh, mate, come on, let Sam talk.
Hang on, I'm gonna have to come back.
Oh, he can't even hear you. Right, wait a minute.
Sorry, I'll come back. I do apologise, guys. We're just having some technical difficulties.
So sorry about that, everybody. TubeMix just had an issue with my line, so he couldn't hear me.
Continue on, Sam.
It's always only Sam's line. We don't know what's going on.
It's always on my line, but everybody else can hear me. Just Will.
Yeah.
So anyway, John Stones has got all the attributes to be a top centre half, and don't get me wrong, he plays for Man City, so his centre halves go. He is a top centre half, but I mean top draw. Like he could easily, and you might look at me mad, but he's got all the attributes to go to be as good as Bertrand Van Dijk, and all at that level. I really do think he's got the attributes for it. He can pass, he can tackle, he's got an eye for a goal, he can step into midfield. Just the things Van Dijk does. The only thing is for Stonesy is he's got mistakes in him.
Yeah.
No, every player makes mistakes. But the mistakes Stones makes are quite consistent ones. Well, they're consistent enough to apply to his career. And they are basic mistakes.
I think it's quite interesting because me personally, or I was, and I still am in some way. I'm one of John Stones' biggest fans.
Me too. That's why I'm saying he's got all the attributes to be that, because I rate him.
I do think he, having all the attributes to be a top centre half is all well and good, but he's 26, 27 now.
Yeah.
Which means he's getting right into that area where
his prime, isn't he?
You need to be as good as you can.
Yeah.
Do you think he's a top centre half? He's got the attributes.
I think he could have been one of the best in England, if not.
I agree. He could have been one of England's greatest centre halves of all time.
Yeah.
And still might be, but he's got to do it now if he is.
Well, I think it's good news that he's back in the team.
Yes.
Because I feel like he is quite error prone, but in terms of Guardiola, when you look at what else he's got in defence, Mendy's error prone, so is Walker, so is Cancelo's made a couple of errors.
With John Stones, it's not about ability; it's about what goes on upstairs. And the centre half has to be quick upstairs, as all footballers do. And most of the time, he is. He's got a good footballing brain, good appreciation for the pass, can do the basics, can slide tackle, can boot the ball clear. But he just makes too many errors. I've got an interesting point for you. When John Stones was at his best during his Everton career,
yeah,
right, because he sort of did burst onto the scene after he moved from Barnsley in the Premier League with Everton. But is there much difference in the quality of player between John Stones at his best at Everton and the John Stones now? Has he progressed that much? He was a great player at Everton, that's what I'm saying.
And his first season at City.
Yeah, you could see he was going to be a top centre half, but has he progressed from that great young player at Everton to where he is now? Or is he still at the same level, which is still very high, but what do we think?
I think when you are a top player and you don't play consistently for a while,
yes,
you know, it does lower the standard. I think that all he needs to do now he's in the team, is focus on the basics of defending and go from there.
Yeah,
Like,
he
that's
needs,
the only
he
thing.
needs to do the simple stuff, get back to the basics, but then all his other attributes will come to the fore if he starts doing the basics.
To answer your question, as you know, the biggest players for making mistakes, centre halves, not even fullbacks, centre halves, and goalkeepers, right? So when a defender makes a lot of mistakes, as Stone has made a few mistakes, there's a lot of headlines on him.
Yes.
Similarly to Walker, because he's a fullback, but he's also seen as one of like England's best fullbacks. So you're looking at that. His career has stagnated for me, and but it's at the point where there must have been a conversation between Stones and Pep, and he needs with the injuries that City have had, they're obviously a lot better now, and that's reflected in the results that they've had recently. But they need John Stones.
Yeah. And he's also struggled with injuries himself, hasn't it? Which also maybe hasn't helped him as well.
I'm just looking now, and I'm thinking, and this is a bad comparison because one's a centre half, one's a winger. But if you look at Adama Traore, right, in the last two or 3 years, and how he's improved at Wolves, and we knew he had all the attributes, all the ability, all the pace, and the power, and the skill with the ball, but he could never deliver the right pass or the right cross at the right time. No, he's improved immensely for me. And I look at John Stones, who, alright, it's a bad comparison because he's a centre half, but who also has all the ingredients to play his position. And I look at the progression of somebody like Traore as a player, and I look at the progression of somebody like John Stones in what he does, and he's not progressed as he should do. But he was already a top. He is a great centre half, but he should be a world class.
The thing is, as well, is like this is the problem with like getting injuries and then falling out of favour with a manager if you make mistakes.
Yeah.
You can't consistently show what a good player you are. Like that going back to the Adama Traore, what's the word? Comparison. I know what you mean in terms of progressions of careers. I think if Adama Traore, started more, because sometimes I know, like over the last few weeks, he's starts a lot more. But if he was more consistently starting instead of coming off the bench as the impact player, I think we would have seen him go even further in his career. And the same for John Stones. I think he was injured, and Laporte is fantastic, and Fernandinho did better than expected at centre half, and what have you. And I know that, and I understand that, and I'm appreciative of that because they deserve that for what they've done. But it doesn't help, somebody like John Stones, who could easily go back to Everton and do well or something like that. So yeah, big moment for him. Big fan, and we'll see how he does. Be interesting to see.
Fireworks.
You can hear fireworks.
Wait,
I can't hear any fireworks. Bit of an odd time to have them.
I know. Do you think the way that City is set up is purely to counter the United style?
Well, it must be one. Must be, I think, yeah.
Because I think it's very interesting that over the last couple of weeks we've highlighted that United do only have one style.
Yes.
which is something that I've talked about with multiple different other people who have all agreed with me that they have only got one style. So I think it'd be a good time for Pep personally as a manager. There has been a lot of talk about him. I think it would be a good time to show how good he can be as a manager. That being said, though, I think history, Manchester as a city has been blue for the best part of a decade now.
Oh yes, since
Well,
Um,
in terms of
but in terms of derby wins over the last couple of years, United have started to edge it. You go back
but
to like
that's because form goes out the window in the derby. A bit.
yeah, I agree with that and I disagree because I think I don't know. I think you think about it from like 2011, 12 onwards. Every single time City went to United and vice versa, it was kind of a non-event for United. There's only been a couple of times I think about the Van Persie free kick in 12-13 and things like that, But for the most part, in the derbies, City have had the advantage until the last couple of seasons. So we've talked a lot about Man City, but I think United in a derby, it has to be talked about as well.
I think this is the worst time to play City.
yes,
The team that are starting to hit a bit of form. They've still got incredibly, in some ways, a point to prove. And I think United, we've been very lucky. So I think today will be the day that we get absolutely slaughtered. I hope I'm wrong. And Man United fans, if you're listening, yes, I am a Man United fan, and I'm sat here with my badge on. I've got my Man United top on that I've had on all day. It's very rarely comes out, these top games, but for a derby it does. And let's hope we can overpower the blue scum, because at the end of the day they're all about the money.
I think and as well, City have started to hit the rhythm over the last couple of weeks.
yes, they have.
So it is it is a very interesting time. I don't want to turn around and say, oh yeah, United are going to get beat, blah blah blah, because the amount of times we've done that over the past month and a half or so is ridiculous.
It feels like we often say the same things, doesn't it? Because it seems like it often is the same old story with United.
We do, but that's what football is. You watch Match of the Day, you watch EFL on Quest, you watch whatever. A lot of the things that get talked about are the same thing, just in a different way.
Yes.
And also well, they are, but I know that if we start the way we've done the last few games, then we're in trouble. And I tell you something else. The stat for you: United's away record. We've won every away game so far in the league. So, our away record is the best it's ever been in the club's history.
I know what you're going to say, but your home record is the worst it's ever been, because you said that about 4 different times on different shows.
So how that's quite baffling. Why do you think that is?
Because we only have one way of playing, which teams will sit in and we have to try and break them down. Now this might be a game where City aren't the type of side to get blocked behind the ball and make it difficult. So in some ways you might think, well, it might work better for United because they'll come on to us. But I mean, we talk about first half and second half, and I know and the comparisons there and the inconsistency. I know I keep bringing this stat up, but if you just want one stat to to sum up Man United's consistency, it's that the fact we've only won one league game at home and it's our worst ever start at home. I mean, and best away, and that just sums up Man United.
I
The
think
worst we've ever played in the first half. And then we played scorching football and we're down.
I think that the problem is you just can't play an away from home tactic at home. I'm not saying the counter attacking.
Leicester did it.
I'm not saying the counter. Yeah, Leicester did it, but nobody knew what they were about. You know, they were an unknown quantity, weren't they? These players, your Pogba, your Rashford, you know,
they're established now.
You couldn't stop it over a season, could they, that year?
No, that's true.
But by Christmas, everybody knew what Leicester were about, but still couldn't stop it.
But then the season after, you know, to get worked out, it's like Sheffield United. We knew how Sheffield United were going to play. They didn't stop improving, and now look at them playing the same way. And then I don't know. For me, you do have to be able to make changes in games that aren't just a substitution, because a lot of the time, like the Southampton thing with Cavani, everybody's going on about, oh great, what a substitution. Anybody could say, right, we're doing shit, let's bring on one of the best strikers to play, you know, let's bring on one of the best strikers in the last 10 years.
It was a very good substitution, though, from Molde.
It was, but I agree with Jordan that as a Man United, you know, Leicester won the league because, yes, they were an unknown quantity, and yes, some of the big boys were missing, but they were so good at what they did, and they could almost have a free hit at it. When you're a Man United, when you're a Chelsea, when you're an Arsenal, when you're a Liverpool, if you want to win the league, you have to have identity. And I think Man United, we only have one way of playing, like we've said. And at home, that doesn't work. Because away from home teams, even like your Burnleys, they're at home, so they want to try and win the game, which suits us. But then being at home, when we're at home, we don't have a plan B. And Man United, Alex Ferguson got so much success from Wenger and Dalglish and Klopp in recent times because they were able to switch formations during the game and they were able to change the way they were playing. And not only that, they were able to, the players on the pitch were good enough to recognise it was going wrong, where United just seem to try and play the same way all the time. And you have to have, I know,
a plan C, don't you?
Because I've contradicted myself a bit with the Leicester point, but the point is yeah, as a Man United, you have to have changes, even if that's subtle little changes. I'm sure if you go back through Alex Ferguson's matches, Arsene Wenger's, Jose Mourinho's, there's probably changes that as a fan until you analyse the game afterwards.
Well, Ranieri, right? Ranieri got the Tinkerman nickname at Chelsea.
Did he? Oh, right, okay.
Because he would consistently change the team, but he got results. And that was the same at Leicester. They all played the same way, but they all knew what they needed to do, and you could move them about and they would still do well.
That's a sign of a good manager.
And, like, you know, you look at the success Liverpool have had playing basically the same system.
Yeah, but they've probably tweaked that, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is they play the same system, they play the same they play the same way, but with the way that Klopp has them drilled, you could stick them in another formation and they'd still play as well. And I agree. I think, like, you look back at that Leicester team under Ranieri, and that would have been the same way because of the way he is as a manager. it's just interesting, like the success Man City had, and have still had, and are still having. That, you know, maybe not so much this year, but it's just, you know, we don't know where they're going to finish yet. That is because Pep Guardiola is the best manager in the world right now, and he knows how to make people play. And you look at it, and I just think that Ollie lacks the experience.
Yeah,
Which
but he's got. Go on, sorry, I'm interrupting. Carry on.
No, it's okay. What I'm going to say is, like, it doesn't make sense that we are saying the same things all the time, and it's not just us saying it. It's a load of different people in football. They only play the same way. They only do this. They only do that. You know, it's not. You know, it can be done to set up counter-attacking at home, but it's not advised because you're at home and you can sit back. People will give you the time. You know.
Yeah.
Let's face it, right? Let's be completely honest, and this is me talking. Manchester United have all the players in almost every position. I'm looking at like defence, Maguire, Lindelof, and Shaw. Other than that, you know, maybe other than that, they do have players capable enough of winning the league or challenging.
Yes.
And they're not doing it. And they're not doing it because they you know, you can't dig in and get a 1-0 win. Things like that. You can't go away to bloody, I don't know. I was going to say Stoke, but it's not Stoke anymore, is it? It's Burnley. You can't go away to Burnley on a Wednesday night and get a 1-0 win. You've got to be able to do that.
Having played shit during the game, but you come away with a 1-0 win.
That being said, though, let's be fair to United as well. City haven't shown much of that recently.
No.
And that's one of the reasons that Liverpool won the league last year.
Oh, yeah, Liverpool were by far last year the best.
You have to have different sides to you, though. And, you know, you say about Ollie and his experience, and I get that, and I agree with that to an extent, but these are experienced players. Surely they must work on different formations in training and different ways of playing, not just a counter-attacking style of play.
Yeah,
you would think so, wouldn't you?
But then you say about the manager, which is true, but then he's got Mick Phelan behind him, Benny Mullenstein, who were there when Fergie was there and would have seen all sorts of different systems. So why aren't they embedding some of those into Ollie? Or are they, and the players just aren't taking it on board?
It's interesting though, isn't it? Because ultimately what the manager says goes. And
yes.
My thinking is he prepared to live and die by the formation and the way that he wants to play?
Guardiola is,
but Guardiola's got a CV full of trophies and whatever to back it up.
I get the feeling that Solskjaer is quite stubborn and isn't willing to change, really.
And you are right. You know, you look at these players. You know, Rashford's been to World Cups, scored in World Cups. Pogba's won a World Cup.
Yeah, with France.
Chelsea, Matic has won, 2 Premier Leagues?
Yep, with Chelsea, yeah.
So there are players in there, you know.
He's won the Premier League, hasn't he?
Yeah, Mata's won the Champions League.
With Valencia, yeah.
With Chelsea.
Oh, yes.
So there are players in there that are serial winners.
Yep. Can I go through?
And that makes me think. Sorry, that makes me think that it has to be to do with stubbornness with Ole, because there's no way that some of those players in there are going to turn around and say, "Yeah, boss, let's play like this." Surely.
But Ollie's not a stupid man. All he must see is himself. what it doesn't take a genius who's played the game to say, and I'm not on about man management, that's different, but to say, oh, this isn't working, we need to come up with different systems. Or it only
Yeah,
works sometimes.
the thing is as well, it depends on how well he sees it, because he could also see it that, oh, when we play well and we're playing that attacking football that we're known for, we're one of the best, which is true.
Yeah, but it's consistency again. United have the trademark of a mid-table side. And I'm sorry, we've got the individual talent, but I'm just putting that out there. I think we are. I know we finished third last year, but in terms of our form, we are a mid-table side. You talk about Palace losing 1 week, winning the next, and alright, United might have a bit more quality than that, which gets them through. But we have the form of a mid-table side, and we're playing. I mean, if we hadn't have had a bit of luck, we'd probably be about where Arsenal are right now, in 15 or 16.
I think the thing that let United off against West Ham is I don't think West Ham expected to have it so easy in the first half as they did. I think that's why they did snatch their chances a little bit. And sometimes that.
Oh, sorry.
It does play to United's strengths, but if they carry on as they are doing, and aren't very good in the first half, and then are better in the second, eventually, there is going to be a team that United come up against that are going to take those chances.
Yeah, City today. If we give De Bruyne and players like that time that we gave West Ham, and we may as well forget the second half, and the referee may as well call it off at half time, because there's no way. Alright, if we're 1-0 down at half time, we've always got a chance, but if Man City are ruthless, then if they're ruthless like West Ham were last week, then it could be 6 or 7-0.
Yeah. Can I go through the championship results, if that's okay, guys?
Okay, go for it.
Okay, right, so it finished Cardiff City 0, Swansea City 2. Scored the 2 goals for Swansea, scored by Max Lowe, assisted by Roberts in the 6th minute for Lowe, but no assist for the 72nd minute, and it's not a penalty. It's a bit weird, that actually, some of them on the BBC Sport website, but no, and it's rules. Is it Rules, I think?
Joe Rules, yeah.
Joe Rules in the 67th minute, and he got a red card after a second yellow card.
Would you like me to do it instead, Will?
Okay.
Watford beat Birmingham 1-0. I think it's Christian Pedersen, isn't it? Christian Pedersen was sent off, and Deeney scored the resulting penalty.
Is he still? I thought he had an operation, Deeney.
He scored 2 in 2 games, hasn't he?
Has he? I thought at the end of the season there was talk of him.
He did have an injury, but yeah, he's been back for.
I thought there was talk of him leaving Watford as well. But
yeah,
there was.
Yeah, I saw that he was meant to be going to West Brom.
But it never happened, did it, for some reason?
Norwich beat Blackburn 2-0. 2 goals from Timu Pukki, with a consolation for Blackburn from 17-year-old Harvey Elliott, who's smashing it, by the way, at Blackburn. I don't know if you...
Did you say 2-0? Did you?
2-1.
Oh, right, okay, just checking.
Bournemouth beat Huddersfield 5-0. 2 goals from Dominic Solanke, a goal from David Brooks, a goal from Junior Stanislas, and another goal from Sam Surridge. Bear with me. Derby and Stoke drew 0-0. They're actually unbeaten under Rooney, Derby. Did you know that?
Are they? No, they lost.
No, because they lost Rooney's first game.
They're unbeaten. Derby County are currently unbeaten in the 5 games that interim boss Wayne Rooney has taken sole charge of.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Luton beat Preston 3-0 with a James Collins hat-trick.
That's a good result. I like Luton. I like Nathan Jones as well.
Middlesbrough battered Millwall 3-0 after 2 goals from Duncan Watmore and another goal from Marcus Tavernier. Things are getting bad for worse for Nottingham Forest. They were beaten 3-1 by Brentford.
Oh, my dad's old team.
The
Who
opening
scored
goal.
for Brentford?
The opening goal scored by Henrik Dalsgaard, and then a mad last 12 minutes saw goals from Josh De Silva in the 83rd, Ivan Toney in the 88th, and then Joe Worrell for Forest in the 92nd, with Anthony Knockout getting sent off for 2 yellow cards. Reading got back to winning ways with a 1-0 win thanks to a goal from Michael Elise. Rotherham upset the form books to beat Bristol City 2-0 thanks to goals from Matt Crooks. Is it Matt Crooks? I think it is. Yeah, Matt Crooks and whoever Smith is. Michael Smith. Oh, yeah. The Welsh bloke. I didn't even know he was still playing. Barnsley came from behind to beat Sheffield Wednesday 2-1. Josh Windass opening the scoring for Sheffield Wednesday. And then Corley Woodrow and Freeser for Barnsley.
Barnsley won, did they?
Yeah. Coventry beat Wickham 2-1 thanks to 2 goals
Colin
from
will be
Liam.
happy.
Thanks to 2 goals from Liam Kelly. And a penalty from Joe Jacobson for Wickham. Into League One, 0-0 between Blackpool and Oxford. Bristol Rovers beat Plymouth
Actually,
3-0.
would it be okay if we did that in extra time? Sorry, Jord.
Oh, well, I was only going to run through it. Anyway, the most important result of the day is that Crewe came from 1-0 down to win 2-1. In the return of France to Gresty Road, the 94th minute winner of all things.
94th minute, that's crazy.
It was Owen Dale. So Holmes scored for Northampton, and then Owen Dale scored for Crewe, assisted by Charlie Kirk, and then Ryan Wintle scored, assisted by Harry Pickering.
Tell you what, Owen Dale's getting some goals at the minute.
No, I said that the other week.
Right, thank you very much, boys. So before we go, 2 questions. Where do we see the game being won and lost, and what are your predictions?
Midfield will be where they
Yeah,
lost.
I think midfield. If Fernandinho and Rodri do what I imagine they're in the team to do and stop the counter, then there's no way City are going to lose.
I agree.
Okay, and what are your predictions?
4-1 City.
Jord?
I'm gonna go. Considering it is quite a defensive City team, I think City are going to win, but I'm going to go 1-0.
Right.
You will?
I'm gonna bring up my predictions, which I...
Oh, Jesus.
Oh yeah, we did predictions. Yeah, I can't remember.
I
what
did,
I
yeah.
said.
I went
So
for...
did I. What
Oh,
did
yeah,
I
yeah,
say?
sorry, Sam, you went for... Oh, Manchester City for Manchester United 0, so Sam, and then I went for Manchester City 2, Manchester United 0.
We will see. United! Come on, boys. Let's get this Blues. Come out of the way. Come on.
Oh, my God. Calm down, Sam.
Yeah.
What are you doing, mate?
This.
He's been on the
Everybody
Fanta, I
is
think.
Paul. True passion. Come on, Paul. Paul.
Anyway,
Dear
my
mate.
thanks to JLIWheels and Sam Taylor for your company, boys. It's been a good one.
You're welcome.
Hey, you're welcome.
And we will be back with extra time about... Would 8 o'clock be fine with you, lad?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okie
that would be
dokie.
fine.
Okay, so we'll see you from 8 with post-match reaction to the game today. If you want to like, share, comment and subscribe to the TubeMix channel. And from all of us here, bye for now.
Come on, United. Bye bye, everyone.